I'd like to start with something honest. So the day after we recorded episode 12, which was the season finale, I expected really to feel that excitement, that relief, the pride, that this was an ending. So let's mark it. And what I actually felt was really quiet. Not necessarily a peaceful quiet, just quiet.
Okay.
Welcome to the After Chapter podcast. I'm Michele.
And I'm Cecilia. We explore who you are when the roles fall away.
And pour into what's next, one conversation at a time. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Hi, Cecilia.
Hey, Michele. How are you?
I'm good.
I'm loving these days?
Yeah, I'm loving, the weather, the season, all the things.
I needed to go slower. Summer's here. I needed to slow down because I want to enjoy
that too.
Every moment. So
yes.
That's where I am.
We are back. So season 1 is done. And the unraveling of the theme of season 1, that is really behind us. And we had always said our tagline, pouring into what's next.
Absolutely.
One conversation at a time. So that's exactly what we're doing, and we will continue to do that. So now we are between the end of season 1 going into season 2, and we're going to keep that glass full with a series of conversations that we're calling the Pour series. So these are going to be shorter, more direct, but yet continue to be still honest as we try to do. So these episodes will have no guests, no big theme to unpack, just the two of us sitting with what happens when the season ends. But we will still continue to have our pour, of course.
Of course. We can't go deep without it.
Exactly. This episode is called When the Applause Fades. And it is for anyone who has ever crossed a finish line and wondered why it felt different than they expected. So
my mind is racing. I could think of so many moments in life when that happens. And so before we go deep, as I was about to do, let's talk about today's pour.
Yeah. So as said, we are having these straight pours. So for these pour series episodes, we're doing something a little bit different. As I said before, we will continue to have a pour, but we're calling these the straight pour, where there's no mixing, no garnish, no recipe, just the thing itself undiluted. And so we just have our pour so we can go straight into the conversation. So today I poured Oban 14. So this is a single malt Scotch whiskey. There's no mixer. Nothing has been added. The Scotch, and Scotch really just means it's whiskey from Scotland. So it's coastal and it's from the Highlands. So it's a little smoky, it's warm and unhurried. It was there before the noise started, and it is here now that the noise has cleared. So that's this episode.
Okay. So I'm going to have my Scotch from Scotland.
Yes, cheers.
I love the ice.
So,
I like it.
Yeah, so I think I'd like to start with something honest. So the day after we recorded episode 12, which was the season finale, I expected really to feel that excitement, that relief, the pride, that this was an ending. So let's mark it. And what I actually felt was really quiet. Not necessarily a peaceful quiet, just quiet.
Okay. I can see that. For me, I definitely felt I felt a sense of pride. So first and foremost, right, to take something that we talked about and it actually become a thing, there's a sense of pride. But then in rush what do we do next?
Yeah.
And so the word that comes to mind is momentum.
Okay. So for you, when you say momentum, are you saying, as you said, the season came to an end, so there was momentum in creating 12 episodes, so kind of let's keep going.
Keep going.
Go faster, keep longer, and all that, all of those things.
Yeah. I definitely had that. I definitely had that sense of and even though in our mind, in reality, it's continued to evolve.
Yeah.
And so with that is like, okay, so we thought we knew where we were going, and now it's like, well, where does it need to go?
Yeah. And also, I'm thinking when we ended the season, whether you, the audience, watched that episode 12 or listened to it or not, or maybe this is your first one, but in that ending, we did have that reflection, the two of us, about not necessarily let's recap the season, but it was a reflection around some of what we're just saying now, that how are we feeling? How did we start? How are we ending? What other questions do we have? And we did end with we think we are now better at asking questions, more pointed questions, because that is the point of when things are unraveling for whatever the reasons are. So it's asking better questions to understand the why behind the unraveling, so that you don't jump into the let's fix it or continue without that pause.
And so I'm smiling because hopefully, if this is your first time, welcome, and we hope that this won't be your last time. But for those who have seen us and have gotten to know us a little bit more, and you'll continue to get to know us, we know each other pretty well. And so the reason why I'm smiling is because we are fixers. Naturally, right? So if somebody comes to you and they tell you before they even ask, you're like, I have 4 things that you can do.
Right.
And so when you're a fixer and you're used to going to solutioning, right? Sitting in the naming and the questioning and not rushing to the solution can feel uncomfortable.
Yes. Absolutely.
Even for the person who's going through it, and if it's us, yes. But 2, as fixers, we automatically want to go to, let me help you. But now it's like, well, let's figure out. And so what I also appreciate in that episode, when we talked about our 3 things, and I said, for me, it was
and for those who are, this is your first time. When we say 3 things, we always end our episodes asking the guest, how would you introduce yourself where you don't have a career title or a family title in 3 words?
Thank you for that.
Yes.
I appreciate it. And so one of your words was teacher, and one of mine was facilitative, right? And in that seat, you have to have this open curiosity. So like, I'm going to ask a question, and you're going to say something, and then I'm going to ask another question, right? So things terms that we've used throughout the episode that really have become to define the conversation, breadcrumbs.
Yeah. And in terms of really the title about when the applause fade, so this really is that reflection of, for us, we're talking about the ending of season 1. So this is a great accomplishment. This is something that was an idea that came to fruition. It's a reality. You can touch it, feel it type of thing. It's so wonderful. Let's applaud. But when the applause fade, it is also just let's sit back and think about, how do we feel? As opposed to let's move on, as your word was, momentum. Let's move on. What's next? Sitting in the how do we feel because of whatever that thing is that we accomplished or that ended even.
Right.
Even ended. So I think there are so many times we have this idea in our heads as to what this thing that we accomplished or this possible ending, how we will feel, but also what's next. And it can be difficult to just sit in that of let me not move forward. Let me not continue that momentum and just
sit
stop.
Here for a minute.
Yeah,
sit here. And that's one of the things that a lot of our guests spoke about as they shared their story of unraveling. The unraveling, whether it happens in a moment or it happens over a period of time, it's the naming it, right? And then when you name it, what do I do with it?
Right.
Right. And so sometimes it's not rushed to solve. It's like, let me take stock of this. And so I think, where I appreciate this season or this chapter of where we are, because it's out there, right? So season 1 is out there. The other thing is, now I feel there's an expectation, because so many people have found tremendous value and saw themselves in the conversations. And so it's like, okay, well, now, once you put yourself out there, you're immediately vulnerable. And so there's the vulnerability.
Right.
But then now people have been sharing these vulnerable spaces. And so I want to honor that. And so I feel entrusted. And so, like, okay, let's treat that with care. So as we sit with it, what's next that continues to honor?
Yeah. And it's for the audience, but as well, it's for us as well, because just as you all are having these moments, questioning, listening to guests, listening to us, and having these pauses and reflections, so are we. So even not only in the preparation of when a guest comes on, but also we place ourselves in that moment, because we are relating to that just in real time, just as you are. And so it's important for us to take the pause, just as we're preaching. We do have to, and it's helpful to also live that. Yeah. One of the breadcrumbs quotes that I will also just share with the audience is that to think about that the end of a season, literal or not, it's not the beginning of the next. There is that something in between, and that's where we are right now, that in between. So we are, quote unquote, done with the unraveling, so to speak. Maybe done.
Really
done exactly.
Like,
that's a strong word.
I don't think you're ever done with the unraveling, right? I think where we are is, in this moment, in this season, we've identified what we want to cover. I'm certain, because I think about even the conversation with our guest, Sylvia, right? Like that came about because of viewer and listener input. And so I don't think we ever truly put something down completely.
Yeah.
I think, so we're going to put a pause there.
Yes.
And move forward. But I would not be surprised if in future conversations, if things come back up, if things come forward. That's the nature of this sort of conversation, this sort of work.
Yeah.
So, but here we are.
So we are in the in-between. Again, just to reiterate that these are going to be shorter episodes where we sit in that gap and talk a little bit more about some of those themes, some of those questions that have come up in the unraveling. So when, in closing, we're not going to, as we do, tie it up with a bow and give you some pointers, some tips and things of that nature, because that would really miss the point of the past 12 episodes. But we'll leave you with this, again, more questions. So what did you expect to feel when you finished something recently? And what did you actually feel? So sit with the gap between those two things, the expectation and what you actually felt. And that gap will hopefully have something to tell you.
I appreciate that. I'm going to do that work as well. But until then, we will be back next week. We'll continue to be here throughout the summer, every Tuesday. The same two women, different conversations, and a different pour.
Yes.
So cheers to pouring into what's next.
Cheers. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for spending time with us on the After Chapter podcast.
Like, follow, subscribe, and share. Until next time, Pause,
take
take a sip,
and
stay with what's unfolding.
Oh, one more thing. Here comes the legal part. Our lawyers will be really happy we said this. The After Chapter podcast is presented solely for educational and entertainment purposes. We are two women pouring into this conversation with you. We are not licensed therapists, and nothing you hear on this show is intended to replace the advice of a physician, therapist, professional coach, or any other qualified professional. If you're in a season that calls for deeper support, please reach out to a professional and know that reaching out is one of the bravest things you can do.